Isn't that a beautiful flower? I'm Amy Ivy. Welcome to this week's edition of Today's Gardening. Today I'm going to show you how to save the seeds of some of your favorite flowers and how to bring some plants indoors for the winter. So this is one of my favorites. This is a kind of cosmos. It's an annual, and I find that it's really hard to locate in catalogs, mail order seed catalogs and stores. So I've taken to saving the seeds year after year, so I'm sure I always have my favorite plant. And another plant that I like to save the seeds of too, just because it's so easy and it's kind of fun to do it yourself, it's a kind of Nicotiana. Nicotiana is called flowering tobacco. This one particular variety is called Heaven Scent, S-C-E-N-T, because it's prized for its wonderful fragrance. It has a very sweet fragrance, especially in the evening. As the sun is going down, the aroma really comes out. You can smell it just on the wind. Walking on the porch, you can smell this here. And this one has a completely different kind of seed head from the other. One of the things I wanted to show you today is all the variety there is in the plant world. When you want to go to collect, to save seeds, the important thing is to get mature seeds. If you look here, this is the Nicotiana, here's the flower, here's the earlier seed pods. They're still green, they're not ready to be harvested yet. But as you go down this flower stalk, you can see the older ones. And these dried brown pods are the ones that you're looking for. I'm going to pick one off and I can show you. Inside this pod are lots and lots of little tiny seeds. Nicotiana is kind of known for the tiny, tiny seeds that it forms, and that's just what it does. This little tiny seed grows into this great big plant here. Now compare that with the seeds off the cosmos. Here's the flower again, and then here is the seed, the beginning developing seed pod. But again, it's not ready, it's not ripe yet, it's too green. You want to wait until it gets dry and crumbly. It's kind of a fine line, because as soon as they get dry enough and crumbly, on this plant, the seeds fall right off and fall on the ground. They aren't contained in a pod the way the Nicotiana are. So on this cluster right here, these long brown spiky things are the seeds. They look quite different from the Nicotiana. There's the seed of the cosmos. So I'll show you over here how I save them for the winter. And what I do is I like to take a different plate for each type of seed so I don't mix them up too much. Here is the Nicotiana with the little teeny weeny seeds coming out of that dried seed capsule. And then here are a couple of the cosmos. Here are these great big long skinny seeds off the cosmos. So I just leave it out there. I break it loose from the seed pods. I leave it on the plate for a good week indoors so the seeds can really get really dry in case there's any dew or rain or anything on them at all. You want to make sure they're nice and dry, air dry. And then what I do is I put them in a jar. You can either put them right into just a little plastic bag like that, or even better, if you have any of these old film canisters around the house anywhere, they work really great. This is Nicotiana from a previous year. Look how tiny that seed is. You can label them really easily, or you can label the bag. And then I stick them inside a canning jar, along with any other old seed packets from the summer that I didn't use up. Put the lid on, and keep it in the refrigerator all winter long, where it'll stay at an even temperature and an even humidity and be protected from any extra moisture by being inside the canning jar. So now I'm going to show you how to take some cuttings of your favorite plants to bring indoors for the winter. There are a whole variety of plants that you might have growing around your house that you could take cuttings of now to bring indoors to enjoy during the wintertime. Here are some that I have that would be easy to take indoors yourselves. This is the sweet potato vine that is really easy to root. This is the good old geranium, just a regular red geranium, and this one I particularly like indoors in the winter. It will flower all winter long on your windowsill in a sunny windowsill, and then you can take that plant and plant it outside or in a pot next spring too and keep it going year after year. Nasturtium is one that you can take cuttings of and put in a vase of water, and it will grow for about 2 months or so. Mine continue to grow, they form roots, and they actually will flower for a while. They eventually peter out. But today I wanted to talk about this coleus here, which is a really nice foliage plant, which makes it nice for a house plant indoors with our lower light levels in the winter. So all you have to do, really for any of these, the geranium or any of them, is you take a nice healthy looking shoot and just take a cutting off. And then what you're going to do is take the lower leaves off, like this, just pinch off the lower leaves. and that's where the roots are going to form, where those leaves used to be attached. On this one, actually, I'm going to go a little bit farther. I'm going to take one more set of leaves off so you don't have too many leaves on top. I'm going to cut it off about there, and then I'm just going to stick this into a small pot of potting mix until the roots form. Here's one that I did a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And you can see I did 6 of them, and I just stuck them in this leftover 6-pack from the summer with nice potting mix. And look at the roots that have formed on there. This is ready to be potted into its own pot, maybe a 6-inch pot that I can then put on my windowsill, and it will grow all winter long and provide that nice leaf color and texture for me. And then next spring, if I want, I could even take cuttings off of that and continue on for next spring in my garden. So I encourage you to look around your yard, check your window boxes, your flower beds, and see what kinds of plants you might have that you might want to experiment with taking cuttings of so that you can have some interest all winter long too.